Crunch time, coming up big when it counts.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Crunch Time, where we come up big when it counts. Saucy just nailed the intro. Let's go. I'm Tom with Saucy and Luke. We're back again.
Let's go! Celebrating
That's
after the
taken us-
mishap last week. After the mishap last week, I nailed it. Perfect.
I'm literally sitting here
Perfect.
like, did it work? Did it not work? I don't know. Waiting
It's
for
16
someone to
nailed it
celebrate.
16 episodes and we finally got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the next 16, bloody who knows what will happen. There'll be another advancement. Easy. Boys, glad you're all well and we're ready to go again. It's probably going to be quick, sharp, and succinct. That's a big word for me. I looked that up in the dictionary before we got on. So we're going to start with F1 alternate cards. Obviously, all the focus, it's back to the whole Hamilton thing. And we'll honor live, Lukey and I, with Azuro on the weekend, and we noticed one thing that was pretty incredible were listings on eBay, and then what ended up eventuating in sales for Gasly, even for Hamilton. There was a Hamilton that went for $106. I think it was out of 25 or 50. Oh, no, sorry, out of 50. And we're thinking to ourselves, the prices seem to have gone down, where we've discussed a few weeks ago, the box prices have stayed pretty much on the same level. So any thoughts, any plays on some drivers you reckon are a good shout, really?
I have an interesting theory with F1. I think F1's like maturing very, very quickly. Like, so the NBA market started off with you've got the base prisms, and then people graded those, got their money, then they turned that into color into like RPAs into like vintage, and that's the graph type of thing. I think F1's doing that on like a really quick timeline. I think people want dynasty autos, patches. They want the like really low numbered Hamilton, Verstappen, or whoever you support. Like George Russell, I sent that today in the chat for
Super refractor
for 4.4. Like that's crazy, man.
Was it $4,000 or 40? $4,000 still
4,000, but that's like, George Russell, you're banking on him doing, something. He's not. He's a rookie. It's like betting on, whoever you want to pick for a rookie.
You're banking on that move to Mercedes, really.
Yeah, you're banking on the move to Mercedes. You're banking on him doing well at Mercedes. Like it's
interesting talking about. Sorry, go on. Did you have more?
No, you go.
Oh, it was interesting talking about that too, and Russell's possible move to Mercedes after he did have that drive last year. Me and Doma were talking about it with Azuro, how Ocon was the third driver at Mercedes for, I think was it 2 years? I think he was. It was at least one.
I think it was 2 years.
2 years, yeah. Well, we were saying that was interesting too, because he's been there. He's basically been in the first reserve seat. Could he possibly be more in contention for that seat than what Russell is? Even though Russell is a great driver as well.
The other question we posed as well was, Hamilton's the bee's knees of this hobby, and he's the go-to guy. But what happens with the health of F1 when he's gone in 2 to 3 years? He's gone. Like, that'll be it. And then you got to think, who takes that? We think, obviously, Russell's going to take one seat, but who takes the other seat at Mercedes? Yeah. That's the thing.
You really reckon Hamilton's gone in like 3 years?
Yeah.
I reckon
I think
3.
so.
Really?
I reckon.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2 max.
Wow.
I reckon.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It all depends. I reckon it all depends on how Mercedes project themselves going in the next gen of next gen spec as well. I think that'll be big in his decision as well.
Yeah, but from watching the races, Red Bull have Red Bull are going to win this year convincingly. I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right. To be honest, I think you're right. After watching the
I know it's early to
the
call.
race
We said
before,
this last week. It's early to call, but
the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced we'll watch the same as well. Yeah.
Even the way Hamilton, like his the radio chat, like you can hear it in his voice. He's like, I don't know what to do. Especially like midway through that last race, he was just like, "What can I do? I'm stuck. I can't keep up."
He's literally
He's
become
exhausted.
Verstappen of last season. Verstappen was stuck in terms of like, I can't gain on the gap.
He's very
Why
jumpy.
can't I? Yeah, it's like, why can't I make inroads on the gap?
Yeah.
Whereas
Like,
the last
I
few
can't catch
years,
him.
yeah, the last few years he's been he's a very cool, calm, collected driver, and it's a bit out of character for him to do this, really.
Because I don't think he's ever been in a car that hasn't been won, like number one.
Not for the last few years, definitely not.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the Verstappen cards do because he's still very young and like he's breaking records. I was speaking to Steven. Steven was telling me like he's breaking records that even Hamilton didn't break at his age. You know what I mean? Like Verstappen's the real deal.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
oh
for
yeah.
sure.
And
It's crazy to see how far that Honda they've come
next-
this year too with Red Bull.
The next era of racing, like my opinion, I think it's healthy post Hamilton. The reason why I
Oh,
say that
definitely.
is
I agree.
because you go look at the World Championship accumulation of titles, and we spoke about this in a live, Saucy and I, and everyone keeps going, "Oh, Hamilton's got 7. He's got 7, yeah, 7. Schumacher's got 6." And then you start looking at one at 5. I think it was Fangio at 5, and then Prost there's 4, and then there's 3, there's 2, there's 1, and that's it.
Vettel had 3 as well, yeah.
Vettel had 4,
Yeah.
I think 4.
And
And
time, yeah.
I remember
But
the
this-
era. I just can't remember how many he got. It
you
always
look
gets
at the
me.
list. You look at the list. There isn't 50 drivers that have won a championship, and what I see happening is an exciting thing for the sport in the next 10 years because they're all young. I reckon with the equalization, I'm hoping it turns out to be like MotoGP, where people are winning in different races based on their driving ability and the car setup, but it leads to multiple world champions in the sport because they're all young. You look at Gasly, you look at Verstappen, you look at Leclerc, you look at Russell, even
Lando.
Ocon, Lando.
You
Man,
know,
it's so healthy, man.
you know
So
what
healthy.
I found very interesting, and I'm so glad that it clicked into my brain now to mention it here. I haven't thought about this. There's no pre-pod for this. This is just like off the rip. It came into my head. I was watching Barstool Big Cat. So Barstool is like, if our listeners don't know, Barstool are the kings of sports media, I would say. They're very, very big in that space. Especially NFL, not so much soccer, and not so much
It's
F1.
American. It's American.
It's American
I don't know what
sport,
Barstool
yeah.
is. I'll be honest.
Gambling, they're massive into
Barstool
gambling.
is like, it's synonymous with gambling.
So is it
It's
like a Bleacher Report sort of thing?
yes, but it's more. It's more of like humor. It reminds me of
Okay.
they get a lot of podcasts on their show, and
Okay.
maybe one
They
day
just
we're gonna
branch out into everything. They got
maybe
a
one
Barstool
day
for
we're gonna
everything.
be a Barstool podcast.
nice.
Who knows?
Ooh.
I think they've got over 50 podcasts under their network.
Huge
Wow,
podcasting
really?
network.
Fuck.
Huge. They've got the Arsenal guy. He's one of their podcasts.
Troops,
True.
yeah.
He's on their podcast. But what I found very interesting, Barstool Big Cat is one of the founders, one of those early people in Barstool. With Dave is at the top. He's the owner, Dave Portnoy. But he was
Presidente.
El Presidente, one by everybody knows the rules. So Barstool Big Cat actually had Daniel Ricciardo on his show. And it was very interesting conversation because Daniel obviously knew who they were. They didn't know much about Daniel until they watched the series. And the vibe that I was getting from the show is from that interview, Barstool now are like going heavy into F1 coverage. And they're
Really?
realizing like this is a massive, massive market that's growing faster than anything they've seen before. F1 in America has like taken off. Like even the way he was wording it is like literally a month ago we had no idea who you were. We watched that documentary. Now we haven't missed a race in the last 4 races.
That's crazy.
And my brain goes to like, if the Americans are getting behind F1, and I don't think Americans have been behind F1 like we think, like not like soccer. You know, America's always buying up their Sancho, and we've spoken about that a million times. Whatever, Pulisic. If they start backing a F1 driver, like imagine they just pick, Verstappen's our guy, Verstappen's our, Pulisic type of thing. Similar in like
Even
who
better,
we like.
just to cut you off, imagine an American driver gets on the grid.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine
It's
an American
over.
driver come, which I don't think will
No.
happen.
Yeah,
for
Romain
this.
Grosjean. He drives in the Indy, so he can. They might back Fernando Alonso, and then Fernando Alonso.
That's what I'm saying. Fernando Alonso, like got the Mexican ties. Like this is
Perez
Perez,
could
yeah.
be the guy,
Perez.
bro.
Perez could be that
Sorry,
guy.
Perez. I meant. I'm telling you, this is F1, and I want to relate it back to the famous argument that we had with Cardporn. Cardporn was so wrong. Like I think about it once a week.
Go.
They were
Once a week.
so wrong with like their analysis of F1's like tennis and all those other sports.
They were.
F1 is becoming bigger as this year is going on. And I think it's going to go crazy. If Hamilton starts competing, forget it.
And look, with the success of the Netflix series, Ride to Drive, is that what it's called?
Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
There you go. Right, I knew someone would correct me. There's probably going to be a sequel to that because that was they hit that out of the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to create the interest that drives prices, and we've seen it with other documentaries that have come out, like The Last Dance. And there's some other ones didn't really move the needle. So it's not always the case, but I feel like not that it's going to move the needle on the cards, but it's going to generate that interest that's going to create more collectors that then's going to generate the prices to be, moving an upward trend. So I think it's an interesting perspective, Anth, for sure.
We're going to get Danny Rick on here, bro. Get Danny Rick on.
Fuck, imagine that.
We should be
I'd
emailing every F2 driver and just asking if they want to come on because
they're
not
we'll get
gonna get any
Piastri
trouble.
on as well, bro. Easy.
Um,
Don't worry, that's my job tomorrow.
Just to add as well on the coverage sort of thing, I was just watching a bit of the before practice one earlier on the weekend. It was interesting, you talk about Americans and coverage and stuff like that. They actually had John Cena talking to Daniel Ricciardo on the
How crazy is that?
on
Bro,
the pre-show. It was crazy. It was
F1
I was like, they're starting to get
nutty.
I wonder if the coverage, like Sky Sports and stuff like that, are starting to realize as well that the American market is jumping in.
Let's actually divert off that question, actually, because you brought it up, and it never got addressed. And I actually want you to address it, Ant. I know you just touched on it just then, and it's not really for the fact that we can tag Cardporn. They're going to get tagged anyway because you just said they were wrong.
They love us. They love us.
Yeah, I know they do. But I actually want you to explain that because we had something in the works and obviously it never got off the ground. But your reasoning why they were so wrong, and then we can all chime in on it.
It's very simple. It's I forgot their argument at the time anyway. But the reason why F1 is different to everything else is F1 is, especially from cards, we'll talk about from cards perspective first of all, without getting into why it's so popular and what it's becoming, but just from the cards perspective, Dynasty and Topps Chrome Formula One are the first releases of a product for that sport ever. Like barring the 1992 grid, which doesn't have any driver from this current era, these are pretty much the only cards you can get of, I would say, what would you say? I'd say 19 of the 20 drivers. You can get Topps now.
You can get
hold on.
You can get all these random cards like Vettel and Alonso and stuff that are coming out, but it's not a mainstream set where they're all together like this. Yeah.
And Hamilton's the only caveat. He's got the SI for kids, but that's one thing. This is a premium brand. This is where like Topps behind them and everything like that. So
and the Chrome, Topps Chrome,
and
which
the Chrome,
is
Topps Chrome and Topps Dynasty.
So much weight in a lot of sports.
Yeah. Chrome is Chrome because
Dynasty
that's the brand
is
behind it.
practically having a Panini flawless.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes. And that's why I think that from a card perspective, it can never do it can't fail. Like they were building it up like, oh, this is going to fail. This is guaranteed to fail. But it's not, because you're not thinking of, you're talking about generations of, not even generations, many years of people that want to buy collectibles to do with F1, and now they've got an opportunity to buy it. Like people
But
are buying cases.
the funny thing is, honestly, and whether I cop flack for this comment or not, but the obtuse thinking and mindset that it's going to be nothing is so flawed to the point where you need to step back and
You
look
read
at
the
it
dictionary,
like,
didn't you, today, Doma?
yeah, I did, man. I did. Bro.
Hey, he's
But the
got the week off.
reason why,
He's got the week off work. That's what he's doing.
yeah, so my brain's now
Brilliant.
recuperated.
Brilliant.
It's
I love this.
recuperated. So the reason why I say that is because, unfortunately, the American market, it was massive in Europe and here in Australia and in China before it was even anything in America. So Tops, obviously you go Tops UK, someone there has seen the metrics and they've seen the ever-growing popularity of it, and they said, let's make this. We'll get the massive fan base through the door, and we will literally hook the American market in later. And lo and behold, that is what is happening.
You know what? We should clip this, and I would even say I'm calling out Cardporn. They should really, because they know that the weight that they have, like they're one of the biggest accounts in the hobby, come out and just be like, look, we got that wrong. We threw it out there. We were misinformed. We didn't know better. Crunch Time informed us. They educated us. And now we're here. Like, you got it. They straight up got it wrong. Like they post about, you know, if you followed Sports Card what's his name? Sports Card Investor? What's the guy's name?
Yeah.
If you followed him, you would have got everything wrong. If you followed Cardporn on F1, you're likely you've gotten it wrong. It's straight up.
100%. But it was the thing of like, as well, it's the whole market thing is outside of football and NBA and baseball, it's like no other sport. It sounds bad, but it's direct and truth. It's like all other sports have no merit. It's like arguably F1 is probably bigger than the NFL.
Yeah, it's
like
on a world
scale.
Yeah,
on a world scale.
If you go globally,
where it reaches.
Yeah, globally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'm
bigger
looking
than
at
that.
these Verstappen sales. It's 7,000 USD for a dynasty card.
And we saw the same thing.
USD.
We saw the same thing, and funnily enough, we all laughed because everyone was like, "This will never take off. This is stupid. This is dumb." We saw the same thing with soccer, and now everyone's eating their words, and now everyone's just buying into soccer like crazy in the American market. You're talking about the biggest sport on the planet. It makes your sports in your country, sports in our country, look like shit. That's what soccer does. Like AFL is nothing compared to the world game of football.
AFL's nothing out of Victoria when you think about it.
Exactly right. Correct.
Yeah,
Ant doesn't even know who the Sydney Swans are.
Have you been to a game? I don't think you have, yeah?
I've been to one Sydney Swans game with like uni mates. And I found it really fun, but I didn't watch a game after that. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not good. We all support teams. We all support it.
Exactly.
It's nothing outside of our state.
I've got nothing against NBA. I've got nothing against NFL.
You couldn't pay me to get up at 2 a.m. to watch a AFL game.
But the thing is, like, as we said before, America's one country. Australia is one country. Yeah. Asia is that's the continent. Like it's North
exactly
America,
right.
and we're Australia, we're a continent. And then you go to Europe, and there's that many countries in there. And then you go to Asia, and there's that many countries in there, and they're already in love with football, and they're in love with Formula One race driving. How do you think this stuff is never going to work? Are you kidding me?
Sometimes it's better to just like not go against the market.
That's why.
This is what you.
It's what you said too. It's sometimes not good to bet against the market, but at the same time, don't try and destroy the other market, like sport market out there. F1's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And when this new release comes out in July, and when there's like a lower end scale product, and you can get like relic cards and memorabilia cards, man, I think this next set's going to be even more sought after than like the first.
The thing is that they want the people that are buying these. They're not buying just to hold wax, or you know what else? They're not buying to break. Breaking in F1 it's not common. Like
I've seen very few. I'll be honest.
very few breaks,
Yeah.
right? People are buying to rip personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's interesting to me because that's like full love for the sport. Like I want to get something good. Like Steven bought 5 boxes and 1 sapphire box, and he's ripped all of them. I bought
Why is he really?
I bought 4
Fucking hell.
boxes. I sold 1 and ripped 3. Like I don't think I've ripped 3.
Surely you got to
soccer
get him ripping that on a live, man. Like, what's
Sapphire
he
is
doing?
Seriously,
Yeah,
you did too.
I know
These
Sapphire.
are way back. These are when they came out. This is
I know when they came
I've
out.
ripped mine. I've ripped mine on live. I've been unfortunate, but I still love it.
I should have hit up my sister. She's got hers. If she wants to
Sapphire.
rip it or sell it. No, she's got a normal Topps Chrome. If she wants to rip it, I'll rip it on crunch time next week.
That's big. That's
Fuck.
big.
I'll rip it, and then we'll get a Hamilton order.
To come down.
Hey,
That's the thing. I want the boxes to come down because I will
me
buy
too. I
some.
want some sapphire, but it's
What are they sitting at, fellas? What's the
Ooh,
price on the Topps Chrome?
700 between $650 USD and $700.
for the chrome
Okay, so they really haven't
For
moved
the
too
sapphire.
much.
sapphire.
That's for the sapphire. What about for the normal Chrome? That's even gone less, isn't it? About 480.
$550 USD.
Okay.
That's what it was. That's what it's been
That's what
the
it
whole
was,
time.
yeah. Hey, get that Montgomery Burns Sapphire, mate. I'm telling you, that's
The
Get the
Burns.
Montgomery Burns membership.
it's crazy.
And another thing to mention, I'll save this for Fire and Flame at the end. I'll save it for
I've got one more thing to add as well. Imagine that, you know how we say America runs the card market or whatever. America is probably the biggest interest in cards. Imagine cards was a worldwide thing. What would the top sport be? It'd be soccer, and then I reckon probably NBA, and then probably F1. It's probably that's my sort of view on it. That would be the top
Nah,
sports.
it's weird because cricket's in there somewhere because you know,
Oh,
the
I don't want to do a
numbers-
hard point and start hating on other sports, but I don't know if cricket would be
if
huge in
are you talking
cards.
about cards or sport?
Cards.
No, cards.
If
Okay.
cards
F1.
was like America was in, you know how
The rest of the
America
world, yeah, F1's definitely third.
third, yeah,
You
behind.
reckon it's bigger than the NFL in terms like we?
No, I said soccer,
global,
NBA,
global.
F1.
Global, yeah. I think F1 beats out NFL.
Yeah, I reckon as well.
Fair call. I just did say that it was bigger than the NFL. And
Tell you what, you might have to go out there and get a Shane Warne card. Find the Shane Warne rookie.
You should. Hey, the cards you should be getting in cricket. Here's just a little side note: Shane Warne, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli. Honestly, they're the 3 guys you will never go wrong in cricket ever. So if you're listening to this and you can find them, they're rookies, or you're actually never going to go wrong. Never. If cricket becomes a thing, those are the 3 guys. And then you go get Gilly. You go get Gilly.
Surely
'cause,
cricket doesn't. Fuck, imagine cricket became a thing.
The Indian market
wouldn't be
loves
surprised.
Gilly and they love Brett Lee. I'm just telling you all the facts. Yeah, because he's done Bollywood films over there. I'm serious.
Has
Brett
he
Lee.
actually?
Yeah,
know
Brett Lee.
Yeah.
Gilly,
Brett Lee would be massive.
Ricky Ponting. Shane
Ricky
Warne.
Ponting.
One thing,
Bro, I'm telling you.
Love
And then
Ricky Ponting.
Tendulkar and
Shout out those
Kohli.
Ricky Ponting games back in the day. Jeez.
Segue from F1 to cricket cards. How have we
Bro,
done
we're
that?
all over it. Anyway, I'll give you my fire
topic.
is my fire will literally just be these cards. I'll give the tip when we
Just
get to there.
cricket.
We digressed. No, the F1 cards.
Oh,
But we
F1,
digressed, but for the not for anything, the good information and stuff that we've given to the listeners. So that's the main thing. All right, let's move on to Topps Chrome Champions League 2021 and Don Russ. And you put this up as a topic, so bit of insight on what you wanted to look at, and we can discuss.
it's interesting. Well, it's interesting because I think that the prices of Champions League boxes, especially this year, have come down quite a bit. Like now they're approaching, I think you can get them for like 450, 500, maybe 550 Australian. And at that price, you know, you got the chance at Bellingham rookies, like true rookies, Kamavinga rookies. Like if these players turn out, and if you compare that box price to any of the other 3 years, that's why I think it might be worth a buy. That's why I think it's worth looking at, or even getting into breaks, because obviously the breaker has to be breaking at a price that's comparable to the whole box, but
Two boxes sold on StockX. Most recent sales at 400, one for 412 and one for 415.
US.
No, Australian.
wow.
Ooh. I'm gonna say StockX is a play for boxes. I've been looking at them
StockX
since you brought
is
it
the
up.
StockX is
definitely
the
the
play.
play, bro.
That's the topic
like-
if you want to
it was
talk
like-
about it.
It was like
StockX is the play.
4 La Liga Mosaic blasters for like, I think it was 220 shipped to Australia, Australian dollars.
Did you order it?
No, I didn't. I was thinking about it. I've spent too much money on cards this week.
StockX
I'm
is
just-
a
Like I told you,
sneaky-
I've spent too much money on cards. I'm chilling.
I love
For someone
it.
who wasn't, I said this week, I'm not buying anything. I've bought some things. Let's just-
That's
Well,
gonna
you
get
can
like
al-
Trae
you-
Young.
you-
Trae
so
Young's
the
gonna win
last-
title, Lukey.
Yeah, I know. And
There's a
Sell
four
all my
blaster
trays
combo. Tops Blasters Champions League Blasters 2021. Last
What are they
sold
worth?
260. So 4 blasters you get
Australian.
260 Australian.
Shipped
And
out?
yeah, that would have to be a bit more shit. But that's the last sold. It doesn't mean that they're selling for that
Yeah.
much, because the most recent ask is $300 for 4.
no,
No,
the La Liga one was the last ask as well. Was
Yeah,
240
okay.
shipped. If I
There
bought
you
it
go.
now, like yeah,
You know what
Yeah,
else
that's
is
crazy
crazy?
value.
Because StockX have now opened up in Melbourne, the
Yeah.
shipping
it's in Port Melbourne.
25 Australian dollars.
well, it used to be 40 or something, didn't it?
It used to be
Yeah.
40 USD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that why it's 24? Oh fuck! All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
so it's cheaper. Yeah.
And it's this is something that is very, very interesting, and I guess we're changing this to a StockX topic, which is fine by me. Australia now has all-in pricing, which includes duties, GST, import fees, one price. And now, as someone that used to buy and sell on StockX, like for sneakers, the biggest thing was when you're buying, you can't buy and ship to Australia because you're paying the fee when it comes here. Like anything over 1,000, you're paying a big, hefty tax fee.
They leave
Import-
it-
Well,
do they leave-
that's why you
do
have
they
to use
leave
a
the invoice
reshipper,
in
mate.
there?
Reshipper.
Yeah.
They leave the
That's why they
invoice
use
in
the
there.
reshippers.
Come on, StockX, you can't be doing that.
Telling you, I think StockX is a very sneaky play.
Mm.
Like,
It's the play, bro.
How about for singles?
Source
I haven't
mentioned this
looked at
last week, like when we discussed those blasters.
I might have to really start
How about
checking
for
out.
how about for singles, boys? I haven't looked much at StockX.
They
for
sell
singles
graded stuff
recently.
on there. The only thing is
Yeah.
with the issue I have with the graded on
expensive?
there, right? No, this is the issue I have. So, like, you know how not all graded cards are the same? Let's be honest. Yeah, like PSA
Yeah.
gets some nightmares. If you say order a PSA 10, for instance, base Luca, we've seen the horrid centered ones out there. You don't actually know the physical
don't
card
see
that
it.
You know
you're
what
getting.
you're getting. Yeah, I get you.
It's a bit different with boxes. Box is a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's sealed, right? It's a bit
Yeah.
different when you don't know the actual card. So you might be buying a PSA 10 and you get it, it's off-centered. And if you were
Yeah.
buying that on eBay, you would have never bought that offsetted PSA 10. You know what I mean? So it's a bit deceptive in that point. And same with the BGS 9.5. Not all 9.5s according to the market. In my opinion, I think it's the most biggest bullshit of all time that people charge more for better subgrades. But people in the market do, right? That's not told on that story's not told on StockX. Like you just see
StockX, yeah.
9.5. Like you could be getting a 9.5 with 3 9.5s and a 9, right? You don't know if you're getting a true gem. People charge more for a true gem. Like I sit here and think that is the most ridiculous thing. I think it's just great that BGS give you the indication that it's a true indication of how you got your grade. Should be praised because I mean, there's so many times you see PSA cards and you're like, how the fuck did that get a 10? But people charge more for it, so it needs to be known on StockX, and that's one of the downsides for it. I mean, even me myself, like I've even though I say I think it's stupid, I'm not going to turn around and be like, oh, I had a 9.5, true gem KD, and I'm going to sell it for $200 less because that's what the last 9.5 went for, but the last 9.5 had a 9 grade in it. Mine was a true gem. So, of course, I'm going to try and get the extra $200. This is where we get back to that whole perception. It's like, because the other person's doing it, I'm going to do it. And then because I'm getting more money, That's like, yeah, it's all right because I'm getting more money out of it. And it just all becomes down to money. It's worth more money because, the other guy's doing it and paying more money for it. Like, it's just so retarded in my opinion, but that's what the market says. So, yeah, it needs to be known on StockX. That's why I'm saying with the graded cards, it's a bit,
Because when I was
how's
when
it
I was
going?
looking at singles on StockX, this was a while ago. This would have been more than 6 months ago. Everything was just so much higher than what
I'm
eBay
looking
sort
at
of
them
was.
now. They're a little bit over comps, but then again,
Singles
some
or
of them are
because
pretty
full
good.
wax it's been good. Full wax it's been the same, if not, because by the time you get sent to ship my cards and stuff like that, I put that into consideration as well. It ended up being pretty cheap getting those mosaic blasters specifically off StockX.
Some of
Man,
the
there's
prices are
some
very
plays,
interesting.
bro. There's some plays on here, dude.
I'm gonna have to.
looking
Yeah,
at
look,
like-
you got to be mindful. Yeah, like on StockX, originally a sneaker platform, right? I'm in sneaker cook groups. I see their attitude. Their attitude is like buy, flip, buy, flip, buy, flip. Buy, flip, buy, flip. That's their attitude. They don't talk about holding. They don't. Some of them rip wax. There's a few guys that are in there that were originally like sneakers, and then started getting into cards, and now they're like 60% cards, 40% sneakers,
Wow.
even more. Now it's like 70% cards, 30% sneakers, and they love like ripping boxes and shit, and they've been massively sucked into the hobby. So like the hobby's stolen some of the sneakerheads as well.
I think
But
there's so many more aspects to it compared to sneakers.
yeah, there is. But like sneakers has that sort of aspect as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying that. I feel like there's a bit more to it though.
You can't buy 20 sneakers and then like ship them off. Saying like it's weird. It's hard to buy massive quantities of sneakers, but I can carry around 50 PSA slabs, and it's nothing. That's something that interests me. That play.
So, and my last point was, and then I'll handball it off, but it was that, that's their attitude, buy, flip. So, because StockX is for sneakers originally, a lot of these guys that have the bots that can eat this stock that already have it for the sneakers, they're like, oh, I can make money with the cards as well. I'm going to buy this. And because they got the bots, they can get it at retail. They get it off Target for retail. They get it off Walmart for retail, right? They get it off Tops when Tops drops them for retail, like when they drop the Tops Chrome F1 boxes for £140 a box, right?
That's crazy.
Or whatever it was, £120 a box, right? That might have been 200 US. So they would be able to get those boxes, right? They just want to flip it quickly and get the money back. So that's why I reckon you see some of the cheaper prices on StockX, because these guys, their mentality is just get the money and flip it. Get the money and flip it, right? So they're happy to take, $10 less a box than everyone else.
No,
or
even
$15
they
less a
take
box.
like 20%. Like if they make their 20%, they'll sell
That's
it.
right.
And then they're out. And that's something that is like, it's pretty common in most, like all this stuff, collectibles, buy and selling, drop shipping. Like you pick up X amount, like a crazy amount of product, sell it for 10%. But if you do a volume, you make crazy money.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. I'm just on here just losing my marbles.
We're gonna have to do a StockX hits pod
next week.
Going through
next week. That's what we'll do. We'll just cover StockX next week from head to
Yeah,
toe. All right,
sounds good.
Let's go to
Shout
Fire
out
and Flame.
StockX sponsoring Crunch Time in the future.
StockX 101 with Crunch
I'm
Time.
a StockX fanboy. If they want to sponsor us, let me tell you, I'll wear the
Ant's wearing their
StockX
hoodie
green.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
24/7, you got that hoodie on.
I love it. All right, Fire and Flame, boys.
I've got one. It's very simple. I wish I had my PSA return here, but it will be next
When's
week.
it coming? Next week?
I think Friday, actually.
Have you seen the grades already?
I have.
Oh, nah, fair enough. I saw Maddie's blind reveal the other day.
I was going to do the blind reveal,
Yeah.
but I was too. It's my first proper sub, and I'm like, nah, I want to know.
I want to know. Yeah, fair enough.
There's one card in there. I can't wait to show you. You probably can guess, but
The Grealish?
it is the Grealish.
How many? You had two, didn't you? Did you have two or one?
One.
One.
And it got the 10.
Oh, shit.
I'm revealing it here. I should have. Anyway, This comes out
Crunch time
Saturday.
exclusive.
Hopefully, I can
Crunch time
post it on
exclusive.
Friday. But that's
It's
that
huge.
guy, that man,
Congrats.
Jack Grealish. Is the
He's
That was
definitely
fire.
the
from
fire.
Cherry as well, yeah?
Cherry.
That's large. That is large.
That's crazy.
Jack Grealish is the guy. Don't worry about Foden
That's
and
the
this
man.
guy and that guy. Don't
Yeah.
worry about. I saw his impact this morning was astronomical.
That was phenomenal, and
Yeah,
I'm so happy to see it.
you've been
so
calling him,
happy.
man. He's been your boy on this show
say.
and previous show as well.
He's the guy, man. He's the real deal, and now he's just gonna be. You could see when he came on, like those fans were so passionate about
They
him. Like
lost their
coming on,
mind.
they were losing it.
You know,
Is it 'cause-
I got up
Do
out
you
of my
reckon
seat.
Do you reckon it's because he doesn't play for like a big Big Six team?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's why everyone loves him?
and
He's
the fact
that underdog. He got overlooked by Southgate for
yeah.
years. Like he constantly had to force his way into the team. He's a bulldog, and then they
And
don't
he's-
like how he plays. They don't
he's
like
wearing
his
number
attitude.
7, bro.
He's wearing
He's
number
wearing
seven,
what?
He's wearing the Beckham 7,
Yeah.
bro.
He's a and I don't care what anyone says. And apparently, Stephen was telling me all the pundits, all the news, and everything were just saying how good he is.
Hmm.
Um,
I feel like
and
his
it's just
antics off the field as well. I reckon
brilliant.
people get around. The media might not
Yeah.
like it, but
he's
the
just
fans
got
get around it.
banter.
Yeah.
He's got Jack Grealish is that guy.
Nice. Any other fire or flames?
I'm trying to think why not.
I'll give you my.
I-
You go.
You guys go first.
Yeah,
I'll try to think.
I can go. So I remember it's something Court noted when Ant was speaking about the F1 cards. He was saying, there was no real set to chase other than the 92 grid and this Topps Chrome. I was like, surely that can't be right. So I did a bit of Google searching while there he was speaking. There is another set. It's a 91 Pro Tracks Formula Vroom set. Right, 1991.
Good name.
Pro
Vroom,
Tracks.
I rate it.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
The
Set.
car noise.
And I believe it's got Mika Hakkinen's rookie card in it.
Oh.
So it's an earlier card. So I believe has he won a world championship, Mika
Yeah, he
Hakkinen?
has. Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So there you go. There's an absolute.
He's a machine as well.
Let me tell you, that is a fire right there for you.
Oh, the effect.
Fire.
Talk
Bring it
about
up.
the-
Fuck, they caught me off guard. They caught me
Bro,
off guard.
I said it takes 16 episodes before there's another advancement. It took literally
Yeah,
30
this
minutes.
are you sure we didn't get sponsorship between last week and this week? Because the graphics have been 10 out of 10.
Don't worry,
Production
if
quality.
anyone's got a
Quality's up
flame, I've got an
100%
even
today.
better one. That's the fire. If anyone's got a flame, I've got an even better one. It's just it goes off. So
Somebody's
so
I'm
flying
going to save
someone.
it for next
Come on,
week.
Dom. Next week.
Nah.
Too much production quality.
I like Lukey. Come on, Dom. It's like if we're going to find someone,
He's got
Dom.
one.
I'll flame the Pokemon community again. No, I'm not going to do that. No, my fire was literally going to be go onto eBay, type in Topps Chrome F1 or Topps Chrome F1 Sapphire, and just have a look at some of the prices. Just put on ending soon. Don't have to look for the portrait cards. Our Topps Chrome, Lukey's favorite card, the Lando Norris landscape base, him drinking the bottle, sold for $1.30 last week. $1.30. There was also a Gasly I saw. I got notified to bid on it, and then I was doing something. It sold for $6.
But that was
Like-
numbered as well, wasn't it? You were talking about it.
No.
Oh,
The
different
numbered
one.
one. The numbered one sold for $30. A Gasly.
Okay.
That's cheap as, man.
Cheap.
Numbered
That was at
for
50,
Gasly.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like numbered cards selling for nothing. Even base cards are selling for nothing. And as we said, the prices of the boxes are pretty much staying around about the same and not really moving. So if you can pick up a Lando Norris rookie for $1.30, you're laughing. Honestly, you're laughing. So
It's either
bang on
going,
fire that one.
it's going either way, really. The box is going to come down or the cards are going to go up.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Give Ant a fire as well for his Grealish. Go bang. Yeah, I love it.
Did that Grealish pop up on the screen?
I actually, you know what we need? We need to upgrade. We need the fire to crackle, and we need movement in the fire. So I'll work on it.
My fire is similar to what Thomas said. It's going to be numbered cards of not the portraits, just numbered of not the portraits.
You know what?
So
yeah,
like
I like
your
that.
the car,
Even
the car,
refractor.
yeah, the
Yeah.
car
The cars, man.
They're sick, especially the Hamilton one. The Hamilton one's fucking awesome.
I know you're collecting drivers, but collecting the car also
Yeah,
of that
the car's
driver
awesome.
is sick. That's a
And
nice
that's what he said.
car. That's sick,
Refracting,
man.
That's mad.
It's beautiful. It's like if that in a HJ slab.
Like,
That's what I mean. Those cars, they're just not the portrait one. I don't know. I prefer the other ones over the portrait one. Like, not the portrait one. I'd say it's the second card to go for would be like the action shot, not the driver of the day or whatever ones. Just like I don't know what you'd call them.
It's I know which
Like
one
the
you mean.
Lando one, but the
That-
Lando
that is-
variant for like
that is that. It's like the numbered between I think 163 and like 180.
yeah,
Those numbered cards.
in that range. They're probably my favorite cards from the set.
Good shout.
Yeah,
and I'll give
that's
you
my fire.
another
Numbered
quick
ones of those.
fire while we got literally 2 minutes before Ant has to shoot off and the rest of us. But why aren't we collecting the 70th anniversary of Formula One cards either in the set?
Yeah,
Like, I saw them going for nothing. They're numbered. You can get them numbered. Like, why aren't we collecting anniversary cards? Like, that just makes no sense, especially if it's a rookie or it's Hamilton or it's Verstappen. That's just dumb.
if they're doing it for Pokemon and shit like that.
Exactly right. That's
Makes
correct.
sense.
Anniversary stuff for everything else is going for... Like, that's also another cheeky fire. I just want Sauce to keep
Anniversary,
the fire on
and it's the
screen.
first set as well. You just want to see that fire, don't
I
you?
just have the fire on there. Put on the fire, Sauce. What are you talking?
One more.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bang!
I love it.
We can go the ultra effects, ladies and gents.
What?
Flame.
He's just losing his mind. We've lost it on this show, I'm telling you.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the flame. It's the
And you know
flame
what's funny?
I'm
explosion.
framing that. I'm
I
framing
didn't see
that.
it.
as
I
the
didn't see
flame.
anything happen. I just saw everyone get muted. I don't know what was going
I
on.
What do you
didn't
mean? There
come
was
up
a
on
black
the screen.
screen.
I didn't see it.
Didn't it come up for you? Oh shit! There's an
That's it.
explosion
But
comes up on the
We
screen.
started off
Put
so
that in the blooper
strong,
reel.
and now
Put that
we're
in the
just-
blooper reel.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, shit.
All right. Thanks, boys. Again, thanks to everyone for listening. It's been myself, Sauce, Ant, and Lukey. It's crunch time coming up big when it counts. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of